Sketch turtles, ready for battle. Leonardo, katanas in hand, let's go. Donnie's got no trouble wielding that bow, he's ready as well. Raphael, a side for each side, ready for stabbing. And Mikey, you ready? Dude, how do I get these things off my wrists? Today we're taking a look at the TMNT Original Sketch Turtles by Playmates. This set is a Target exclusive that really isn't supposed to be put out until June 3rd, so you might have to take matters into your own hands. And by that I mean just ask an employee super nicely to get them from the back for you. Lucky for me, it worked on my first try, and I still had plenty of time left on my shopping trip to get some chips. Huge shout out to Cowabunga Toys, an account you should totally follow, for sharing the DPCI number to give to the employees. Right now, they only seem to be delivering one set per store, but I'm sure they'll stock more later on in the summer. Checking out the box real quick, we got a nice product shot on one side, and then flipping into the back, we get a nice image of that Inspiration Original Sketch by Eastman and Laird. You can see these designs are a little bit different than what we're used to, so I'm glad we got these in figure form. There's a little blurb on the bottom, you can check it if you want to, another product shot for the individual turtles on the other side, and if you want to keep them in box, there's a nice window on the front. Doing a quick little zoom in, we see that special TMNT 40th anniversary sticker, and on the top, the even older sketches from Eastman and Laird for their first concepts of Ninja Turtles. Nice little retro logo on the bottom, along with some credits, and the barcode if you're interested in that. And without further ado, we are finally ready to open these things up. If you're wondering if you can open these up and then redisplay in the box later, it seems like it would be pretty easy to do. Just a couple pieces of tape on top, then be careful popping it open. Once you pull it out of the box, you'll see the toy itself and all the accessories in this clear plastic tray, and then each figure does come with its own specific dio piece. And in the back of the box, a really nice addition is a cardboard piece of this original sketch. I would say the thickness is maybe a little bit more than the actual box itself, so it's pretty sturdy. And here are all four brothers outside of the plastic. At first glance, they all pretty much seem to share the same sculpt with a little bit of differences in the belts and the back shells. So let's take a closer look at each one. Starting things off with Leonardo. The colors on all of these are really nice, and I think the accessories are well done too. Each one comes with the same little spilled ooze canister. It's simple but effective. Hollow bottom to cut out some of the plastic, and this is exactly the same for all four brothers. Leo comes with two katana blades that have this unusual kind of warped handle. Maybe that's designed to make it easier to hold in a two-handed fashion, not sure. He also comes with two separate sheaths that are slightly different in where the peg is placed. And finally, he has his unique sewer base. His is the only one with the sewer lid, and you know it's his because it says Leo on the bottom. The articulations are the same for all four brothers, so we'll take a quick look at Leo first. The head can move all the way around super easily. It actually looks down way further than I expected it to, up a little bit as well. The arms go out at the shoulder, they can twist around as well. There's a little bit at the elbow, it's a little bit tricky to get in there. Just make sure it's lined up properly, and then the hands do twist all the way around. Same thing for these big old feet down at the bottom. You can spread the legs out up there at the hip, a little twist as well, make sure the thigh is lined up, and just checking, there doesn't seem to be any articulation for the tail. The basic sculpt of the back shell is the same for all four brothers, but they do change up a little bit depending on how you put the weapons in. It's not super clear how these two sheaths are supposed to work for Leo, so you can kinda do it however you want, I guess. My first attempt was to try to get them both to be straight up like we're used to on the original toys, but if you check the sketch, they're actually off to the side. Same thing for the product shot. I'll have to do some more messing around because I'm not sure this is quite right, but you could do, I guess, whatever you want. To me, it seems like the strap should face up, but in the drawing, this is the way they're going, so I'm going to try this for now. It is just a toy after all, so just have fun with it. Do whatever you want. He can hold each blade easily, even though the handles are long. It doesn't look too off. The plastic isn't what I would call soft, but I didn't have any trouble getting them into the hands, and it didn't seem to have any paint chipping. Here he is, wielding both weapons, and then all that's left to do is stick him on that base. He does have peg holes in both feet, so you could switch him around to the other bases if you wanted to. But for now, I'm just sticking with how they do it on the original sketch. I didn't play around with it too much, but he does seem to always have to be stepping on that sewer lid just a little bit. I'm sure if I got him into more of a squat pose, he could avoid it a little bit more, but whatever. I think it looks nice like this. Moving on to Donatello, again the overall sculpt is pretty much identical to Leonardo, with different colors and accessories. Donatello does kind of get the shaft when it comes to pack-ins. He gets a single bow, but it is done nicely. It's got white wrapping up towards the top of the staff, wood grain throughout, and it does flare out at the ends a little bit. He gets the exact same canister of ooze. He gets his own display stand as well, but it is unfortunately shared with Raphael, so it's going to be the exact same mold. I guess you wouldn't necessarily call his weapon storage a belt because it's slung over his shoulder. He's got that little tube back there to stick the bow in, and it seemed to work pretty well on my first try. It clipped into his hands with ease as well, just like on Leo. and I could easily get him into this double-handed pose. I am noticing now that the kind of battle damage or cartoony lines on the front of the shells are different for each brother, so that's a nice little touch. But that about wraps it up for Donatello. Next up, your favorite turtle and mine, Raphael. If you were only going to get one of these for some reason, I think you'd go with this one. He does come with his own single katana blade, which I was surprised to see, so if you wanted to, you could almost pretend this was an original comic Leonardo as well. He gets two sides that are both really well done. They're a nice combination of cartoony and realistic. The colors are super sharp, and I just think they look nice. He does have storage on the front of his belt for both of them. You can stick them in there. They go in easily. And then when you flip him around to the back, he does have a hole just like Leo did for that sheath. This way kind of makes the most sense for me because that strap is kind of dangling down, but you do you. Maybe this way is possible on Leonardo as well. You can hold the weapons facing up or down, in or out, but you can't really do the through the fingers side grip. And of course, the fourth and final brother is Michelangelo, and he comes with some unique stuff as well. Of course, he comes with that same ooze canister, but let's check out those chucks. I was glad to see that they actually have metal chains, and they seem really sturdy and nice. The paint looks good, there's some nice gold detail on the bottom ends, and of course you get two of them. Because he's kind of floating in air, in the original sketch they gave him this wooden box crate, which allows him to stick up above everyone else in the dio scene. It would honestly look really good as a background piece in toy photography, and it also serves its purpose well here. Just a little adjustment here, there we go. Now he's ready to tower above the rest. As for the weapon storage, I'm not sure how this is actually doable in real life, but the chucks do strap to his wrist, so he doesn't actually really have a need for a belt at all. Here's a quick comparison that I'm glad to see works really well. The original Playmates turtles compared to these new sketch turtles. The colors aren't exactly the same, but I think it looks really close. Looks good. I think this could make for some really cool displays. Maybe add the NECA movie figures or Toon figures as well, definitely looking good. Let me just pull Mikey aside real quick to get that height comparison right by each other, and you can see these new ones are just a little bit taller and bulkier, but still looking really great together. And while these four do look really good as is, I can only imagine that people are going to have a field day with repaints. Here's just a quick example from Oscar over on Instagram, who added some nice comic lines to really liven them up. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some variations straight from Playmates as well. Maybe some black and white, maybe with red bandanas, who knows? Alright, the final step has got to be putting them on that display stand. You don't really have any options for where these pieces go, they're pretty much as intended, but I guess you could change up which brother is where if you really wanted to. The pieces don't really snap together, you just kind of lay them in, but once they're all there, it's easy to move as one unit. And finally, I'm going to try to recreate this pose as best I can in as little time as possible, so let's see how we do. We got Mikey floating up on top. Of course, we can't actually do the spinning chucks. Raphael on the right side, Donnie on the left, and then let's see if we can get that two-handed pose for Leo up front. The handle is definitely long enough, but his head does get in the way just a little bit. It honestly looks okay, nice and cartoony, but it kind of stabs Raph in the face. So I think instead I'll just do a quick little adjustment, put it in one hand only, and sit back and wait for comments about how the blade is facing the wrong way. You never know, he might want to slice inwards. Leo's never been one to follow the rules, right? Plop the U's on there and I think we're all done. All in all, this set of turtles is totally unique and different than anything else we've gotten so far, and I'm really glad to add it to the collection. One of my favorite things of the year so far. Let me know down below if you were able to grab a set, if you're planning to, and what you think of this style overall. Feel free to comment, share, like, and follow, and we'll see you next time.